Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Rotary Luncheon. My name is Ashley Vizzozo Schaefer, and I serve as the club's president. This year's theme is Unite for Good. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Rotary Club of Evansville. As Rotarians, we try daily to live by the four-way test in all things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Now for the presentation of colors. Everyone please stand. Vice President of Rotary, Jim Spath, will you please come forward to lead us in prayer?
Please bow your heads in an attitude of prayer. As we gather today as members and friends of Rotary, let us pause with gratitude for the opportunities to serve our community and support the work being done for the people of Evansville. We ask for your wisdom, guidance, and strength for Mayor Terry, her staff, city employees, and the city's many partner organizations working each day to improve the quality of life in our city. Grant them clarity of wisdom, courage and leadership, and collaboration and purpose as they seek impactful and lasting solutions for the challenges facing our community. May the citizens of Evansville receive and enjoy the benefits of these efforts. Let progress bring greater opportunities, safer neighborhoods, stronger families, economic vitality, and renewed hope throughout our city. Help us all to recognize the value of working together for the common good and guide us, the members of the Rotary Club of Evansville, as we strive to support and assist in the implementation of the Mayor's initiatives for the coming year. May we lead through service above self, strengthen community partnerships, and use our talents and resources to make a meaningful difference for all who call Evansville home. In the spirit of service, unity, and compassion, we give thanks. Amen.
Thank you, Jim. You may all be seated. We want to extend a gratitude to our greeter this morning, Mary Allen. Thank you, Mary, for welcoming our Rotarians and our guests today. We would like to thank Explore Evansville, EREP, Vanderburgh Democratic Party, Centerpoint Energy, Mesker Park Zoo, Evansville Housing Authority, and the Friends of Mayor Stephanie Terry for purchasing tables and supporting our program today. We are honored that Mayor Stephanie Terry has chosen the Rotary Club Evansville's noon luncheon as the venue to present her State of the City address. Would all Rotarians please stand in honor of our guests today? Let's show our appreciation. You may all be seated. We are honored to have a special performance today by the iCamp String Quartet. The quartet is made possible by the special underwriting of Rita, Richard, and Dorothy iCamp, Friends of the University of Evansville, and the Evansville Philharmonic Orchestra. Please enjoy the performance. Thank you for that wonderful performance. Now, for today's presentation, will Miles Terry please come forward to introduce Mayor Stephanie Terry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miles Terry, and I'm a student athlete at the University of Evansville, and also the son of Mayor Terry. It's truly an honor to introduce someone I know not only as our mayor, but first as my mom. Growing up, I've had the opportunity to watch her lead long before the title, the recognition, or the responsibility of this office. I've watched her lead through sacrifice, consistency, and a genuine commitment to people. What has always stood out to me is that the same compassion and determination you see from her in public is the exact same person our family sees every single day at home. Public service isn't easy. It demands time, energy, patience, and the ability to keep showing up even when challenges arise. And throughout it all, she has remained committed to this city and to the people who call Evansville home. She believes in this community, she listens to this community, and she works hard every single day to help move this city forward. As her son, I'm proud of the example she set for me and for our family, an example of leadership, resilience, and service. But beyond that, as a resident of Evansville, I'm proud to say that the person leading this city is someone who truly cares about the people in it. It means a lot to be able to stand here today and introduce someone who has impacted my life, not just as a parent, but as a role model. Her leadership has shown me the importance of character, accountability, and believing in something bigger than yourself. So today, it's my privilege to introduce my mom, our mayor, Stephanie Terry.
Every day, we are focused on creating a vibrant, inclusive community where safety, opportunity, and connection empower all to thrive. We're building what matters, investing in the neighborhoods we call home, strengthening the services families rely on, and creating opportunities that move Evansville forward. Together, we are laying the foundation for a stronger city today and for generations to come.
Thank you, son, for that introduction. He did a good job, didn't you all? He said, I've been waiting for a speaking engagement, and he got one today. I also want to acknowledge my husband who is here. I tell you, both of them, having them walk this journey with me means a lot. So babe, I love you, and I appreciate all that you do to make sure that I'm able to do this job effectively for the citizens of Evansville. Growing up, I need the thing here on my screen. Thank you. Growing up, I always watched Mr. Rogers. And as I was preparing for today, Mr. Rogers' quote came to mind, "Look for the helpers." And honestly, over the last year, that's what I've seen across this city, helpers. People who continue to show up for the community every single day. It is my pleasure to be with you to deliver my third State of the City address. Know that I'm extremely grateful to the Rotary Club of Evansville for this opportunity and for your support and partnership. Can we give the ICAP String Quartet, though, another round of applause? They learned this piece just for today. A lovely day. And also, if you could just keep the applause going for this new city government logo and branding that we are unveiling today. This brand will provide a clear visual identity for our city departments, thanks to RJO Solutions, who has generously donated their marketing services. We have other city leaders here today, City Council President Ben Trockman and other members of council. Thank you all for your partnership and service to this city, as well as to all elected leaders present. I also want to give a shout out to those who make this work possible, our city employees. Evansville works because you do. Whether it's our street department clearing roads or our first responders and dispatchers answering calls in moments of crisis, our levee authority crews putting up floodgates during historic flooding, our METS drivers keeping transit running even in a foot of snow, our city cemeteries team caring for sacred spaces with dignity. Evansville moves forward because of you. I may mention a few by name later, but I appreciate all of our department heads and the employees for the work that they do. That's why investing in our people is important. From pay increases to wellness initiatives, we are working to better support the employees who serve this city. Bringing back the Employee Health and Wellness Fair is one example of that commitment, and it won't be the last. Can all city employees present here today please stand? Can you join me in thanking them now? And to all those who serve on boards and commissions, thank you for your time and commitment, along with the many community partners who continue to invest in our city and contribute to our progress. We appreciate your continued belief in Evansville and its future. Time has flown by. We are now a little past the halfway point of my first term. It's tough work, but I love the work because it's bigger than me. And I can be clear, I've called to do this work, and I'm meant to be here. People often ask, is it what you expected? Have to say yes, and then some. It is, but our team is deeply committed and equipped to address anything that comes our way for the good of our community. And what I've discovered is that many of our city's greatest needs are foundational. While not always visible, they are the most vital. There's a lesson we can learn from trees. Paul, I hope I get this right. For years, growth happens underground. Roots spread, the foundation gets stronger, and for a while, you may not see much happening above the surface. But when the time comes, growth happens rapidly and sustainably becomes the foundation was built first. We're planting this foundation now, seeding growth for Evansville for years to come. The fact is, the state of our city is strong because we are building what matters. We're building revitalized neighborhoods. We're investing, building a modern infrastructure for the future. We're building safe and engaged communities. We're building opportunities for our young people. We're building for growth, new housing, new businesses, and more. And we're building a solid financial future for our city. Today, I want to walk through each of these areas and share the progress we're making, the challenges we still face, and where we're headed next as a community. Let's start with neighborhoods. When I came into office, I promised my top priority would be revitalizing our neighborhoods. This involves removing blight, rebuilding with affordable housing, and actively maintaining the neighborhoods where you live, work, and play. Without strong, engaged, and growing neighborhoods as the backbone of Evansville, we won't be able to get where we need to go. That's why we are investing resources in our neighborhoods in a couple of different ways. First, our neighborhood revitalization work begins through our Fight Blight initiative. Recently, we talked with a lifelong West Sider. We were raising a home next to his house that had been vacant for 5 years. When we asked him what it means to see this house come down, he said, change is the first word that comes to mind. Blighted properties take a toll on our neighborhoods. They create safety concerns. They drag down surrounding property values. And over time, they make people feel like their neighborhoods are overlooked. We are working to change that. We set a goal of removing 150 blighted structures, residential structures. And so far, I'm proud to say we have taken down 100 of those structures already, with another 65 in progress. We've also assisted with some home repair. We've strengthened our blight enforcement, taking steps to hold bad actors accountable and remediating long-standing disinvestment. An example of this came just recently when we assisted with the cleanup of a mobile community off Oak Hill Road. No one should have to live in such horrible conditions. So we are sending a message loud and clear that Evansville families deserve better. Another key example is through Block by Block. Using code enforcement, violation data, and crime statistics, we are bringing multiple departments together to offer core city services. But just as important, we knock on doors. We are talking to residents. We are connecting them to services they didn't know were available. It's about meeting people where they are. I remember a neighbor came out of her home and she stopped me. One, she was surprised I was in the neighborhood cleaning up. But she said, Mayor, thank you for not forgetting about our neighborhood. We appreciate the work that you're doing. That moment stuck with me because they reminded me this work is not just about another special initiative. It's about people and changing how people experience our city. We leave neighborhoods looking better, but more importantly, they feel different. Through Block by Block, we've collected over 20,000 tons of trash. Across the 7 neighborhoods we targeted, we saw significant reductions in trash and weed violations within just 30 days. The Glenwood neighborhood alone, weed violations dropped from 38 down to 6. What we've learned is that when we focus people and resources in one place, it works. But we know demolition or a single cleanup is not the end. It's really the beginning. And so I've tasked Dr. Kobe Jackson and the Department of Metropolitan Development to work with the Land Bank Board to look at acquiring the land where we've raised structures so that we can fill those vacant parcels with safe, stable housing. The city is partnering with CDFI Friendly through its Jumpstart EVV program designed to equip aspiring real estate developers with the knowledge and the tools to build or rehab quality, affordable housing in Evansville. New census data shows us that Evansville's population has declined since 2020, although we did see a slight growth from 24 to 25. And this is important because it reinforces why this work matters. If we want to grow, if we want to create a city where people want to live, work, and build their future, housing is at the core of any growing city. It impacts everything from workforce growth to neighborhood stability to quality of life. We need it, and we need it at all income levels. And that's why we set a goal of 2,000 units underway by the end of 2027. And we're well on our way to building that, what matters. So today, I'm proud to say that we have 880 units under development with another 346 in the pipeline. That's 1,226 units. 61% of our goal has already been achieved. And that includes projects like the Vault that will be opening later this summer on Main Street, Crawford Door redevelopment in Jacobsville, Franklin Lofts, the Reserve at Eastville, a 240-unit affordable housing development that we'll break ground on very soon. It's a city investment of over $10 million using various city incentives. I've been working since day one to expand affordable housing options alongside private and nonprofit developers. This is also a priority for our state and federal leaders. Cities are awaiting the passage of the 21st Century Road to Housing Act by Congress, which will help move forward action to strengthen affordable housing. So we're not slowing down. Our growth is steady, but we want it to accelerate. And if we want to grow our population, we also have to make it easier to build. That means modernizing outdated processes, reducing the red tape, and speeding up approvals. This is something we hear frequently from developers and investors. So we're implementing the Enterprise Licensing Permitting System, which is a unified digital platform that will transform our permitting, our planning, and inspection and code enforcement system. This is a step forward to create faster turnaround times, to improve the service that we offer, but also offer better coordination among departments. This system is part of our broader effort to modernize how city government operates and how residents and businesses communicate with City Hall. That work also includes the development of a new city website that will provide a more welcoming, user-friendly experience for accessing city services and doing business with us. If you've used our city website, you know it's not easy to find information. And in the world we live in today, people expect government to be accessible, responsive, and easy to navigate. So we are changing that. We now have virtual site review committee meetings and have reduced parking requirements for new developments. Next month, we will host our Doing Business with the City event to connect small and mid-sized businesses with opportunities to work with City of Evansville. This event helps businesses better understand the procurement process. It builds relationships with our department heads and teams them with, allows them to learn and compete for city contracts and certifications. All of this is guided by feedback we heard from our Blue Ribbon Committee that was established in my first year. Because if we want to invest, we must be business friendly and development ready. We must start filling up these vacant buildings and reactivating underused ones and simply make it easier for people to invest in Evansville. That's why we now have a city planner in place to help guide our city, how a city grows, and make sure development supports the future we want. All of this work is about positioning Evansville to grow and to compete. And the good news, we are seeing momentum. We're seeing businesses expand. We are seeing companies reinvest. We're working hard for local businesses, and the response is positive. Let's hear from LG Chem Unicil now.
Hi, I'm Jane Alarelli. I'm president of Unicil. We are a wholly owned subsidiary of LG Chem, which is located in Seoul, Korea. LG decided to invest in Evansville for a few reasons. The first being it's centrally located for our coast-to-coast customers. It also has quite the infrastructure, reasonable cost of living to draw people in, top-notch schools and medical facilities that keep improving. and mostly because of our team here at Unicil. We have the talent and the capabilities to take on the challenge. The City of Evansville and EREP were instrumental in helping us to develop our growth for a few reasons. So EREP reached out to us as soon as they knew we were working on a potential project, educated us on the tax abatement process. Pat Hickey worked with me very closely to make sure that we got that we succeeded in that process. City Council was very helpful, very engaged, and very inviting, but also asked the hard questions to make sure that Unicil's growth would benefit Evansville before they approved the tax abatement. If I had an opportunity to tell other companies why they should invest in Evansville, I would let them know that Evansville is a very sound investment. The services provided by the city and by EREP will help guide you through the experience. The local contractors, you can rely on them, honest, reputable, professional, and the universities provide the talent that they're looking for.
What you just heard about is a $53 million plus expansion that includes more than 100 high-wage jobs over time. And this is the result of our partnership with the Evansville Regional Economic Partnership to attract new opportunities and to retain business in our city. But we also know that growth doesn't just happen. You have to be ready for it. In order to attract businesses, you have to be able to easily access our city. We have two major efforts underway. With I-69 Ohio River Crossing, we have an opportunity in front of us, and we must be prepared to meet it. The approach work will be completed later this year, and the bridge by 2031. This project will put Evansville in a stronger position to attract and to grow business. We're also seeing that in our airport. In 2025, Evansville Regional Airport saw a 19% increase usage compared to the year before. Yes, some of that came from expanded service, but it also came because people in this community are choosing to fly EVV first, and that matters. Because the most important thing that we can do to grow air service is to use what we already have. And that's why we're also investing in the places where life happens. I'm extremely proud of what we've accomplished in 2025 through our parks and recreational facilities under the leadership of Danielle Crook. We now know that this is important to you too, Evansville. In the past year, we have invested over $16 million in our parks and recreational spaces. Let's take a look at some of that work now. You know, it's no secret that Evansville's parks and recreational spaces have needed long overdue attention. For years, they have faced deferred maintenance with aging equipment and outdated spaces that no longer meet the needs of our community. My administration is on a mission to change that. Since 2024, we've heard directly from the community that we need to do a better job with upkeep of the parks we have. And now we're turning that feedback into visible progress across the city.
Over the past year, we've been rolling up our sleeves and making real improvements in our parks. Everything from the new Garvin Park Activity Zone, where we're standing today, to replacement playgrounds in Stevenson, Howell Mini, Fulton, and soon to be Caldwell. We've also made investments in aquatics with the TP Park Splash Pad, and soon, very soon, the new splash pad at Iglehart Park, and that's just the beginning.
Overall, just the use. I see more people here now and actually enjoying the park.
People need to know that you care, and that's why it's important that we make sure every neighborhood has a space that residents are proud to call their own.
It's really cool to see the development of playgrounds and splash pads, things that are very visible to the community, but a lot of behind the scenes work has to happen in order to keep these parks and facilities going strong.
This is more than an investment in our parks. It's an investment in people and creating spaces that bring our community together and enhance the quality of life across Evansville. Together, we're moving Evansville forward, one park, one playground, and one neighborhood at a time.
We recognize that it takes time and resources to touch all 46 parks and recreational facilities, but we're committed to getting there. This year, we will invest another 10 or so million in upgrades. And I'm personally excited about the renovations at the C.K. Newsom Community Center because as a young girl growing up at the community center, I had some great memories of pageants and youth dances in that space. Work also continues on River Vision, which is about transforming how people experience our downtown area for generations to come. It is the clearest symbol of Evansville's long-term quality of place ambition. EREP is leading this work with Sasaki, and the schematic design is more than 50% complete, which is laying the foundation for what's to come. And yes, I know many have the first question around who's paying for this? This is a long-term project that will rely on public and private investment, and we know that we have to be thoughtful in how it's phased and how it's funded as we continue working to move the vision forward. A new downtown urban park will open later this year, including a new public restroom on Main Street. And this isn't the only public restroom. Earlier this month, we installed a Portland loo at the corner of Sycamore and Sick to help address the lack of accessible 24/7 public restroom access in a high-traffic area. This is with support from the Downtown Economic Improvement District, who will help maintain the loo. And let's be honest, public restrooms are not glamorous, but they matter. They matter for sanitation, for public health, for accessibility, and basic human dignity. Cities that want vibrant downtowns also have to provide the basic amenities people need. Is this a success? We don't know yet. But what I can tell you is that people are using it, so it tells us that the need exists. These may seem like small additions, but they are a part of creating a more welcoming and functional downtown experience for residents and visitors alike. We're also continuing to invest in the cultural identity of our city. That included last year reestablishing the Public Arts Commission to help guide public art, to support our local artists, and to ensure our public spaces reflect the creativity and character of Evansville. Our regional arts and culture plan identified the need for an amphitheater, and we've heard loud and clear about the interest in reviving Mesker Amphitheater. Recognizing the city cannot take on the project of that size alone, we issued an RFP last year to explore partnership opportunities. And even with those efforts, financing challenges at that location remain. So we're continuing to evaluate a path forward because we know arts, entertainment, and public spaces matter to the long-term vibrancy of our city. And one thing we know about Evansville is that people here rally around the things that bring energy and pride to our community. What about those Thunderbolts? Back-to-back President's Cups champs. It's exciting for our hockey fans, but it's also just exciting because last year, Brandon McClish and the Evansville Regional Sports Commission confirmed a new agreement to host the Ohio Valley Conference men's and women's basketball, Division I basketball, right here at our Ford Center until 2032. We need to pack that arena next spring. Because the economic impact of $2.5 million from that tournament, plus the GLVC and the MVC swim and dive competitions in just a 5-week period is huge for our city. With Explore Evansville and the Sports Commission working together, these organizations, they align facilities and hotels, they secure sponsors, and they deliver the level of execution required to attract repeat championships and national level events. Their collaboration is a key reason why Evansville is now viewed as a trusted destination for major sporting events. We're also looking at how we create more activity and year-round economic opportunities in our city. Demand continues to grow for weather-independent, tournament-ready space, especially for indoor sports that can drive year-round visitation. So now is the time for Evansville to explore the development of an indoor sports facility, one that complements our existing assets and positions the city for the next phase of growth. We're also continuing to see strong momentum at Mesker Park Zoo. Last year was a record-breaking year with more than 229,000 visitors coming through the gates. The inaugural Wild Summer Lights alone, that event alone, saw nearly 50,000 people to the zoo and introduced new visitors from across the region to one of Evansville's greatest assets. At the same time, we continue investing in the long-term care of the animals and the experience for guests through upgraded medical equipment, including new ultrasound and anesthesia technology. Sports, arts, river vision, public restrooms, our zoo, these are the kinds of investments that strengthen quality of life, they support tourism, and they help make Evansville a destination for families across the region. We're also focused on building what matters, the basics people rely on every day. The Transportation and Other Services Division oversaw several projects, including inlet repairs, maintaining alleyways, and planting a record number of trees. Our roads. Last year, we doubled paving projects, paving 9.33 miles across the city. We also completed the reconstruction of Bakey Avenue, and the final phase of the Walnut Street project was completed. We're forging ahead on our road paving plan for the year. Yes, we had a little setback of our community crossings grant this past winter, but I have committed to using at least $400,000 of ARPA interest to bridge the gap, plus the remaining budgeted funds to ensure that we pave an additional 7 miles this year. And if awarded a fall grant, we will pave even more this year. We have filled 17,000 potholes, and by the end of the year, a new 311 app will make it much easier for residents to report issues and to track progress. We heard you on the need for greater street maintenance. We increased the budget for road maintenance, and we instituted a municipal wheel tax to ensure we continue improving roads and quality and qualify for the new state lane mile distribution. Together, we are making the investments needed to maintain and improve our infrastructure. Maintaining this is a responsibility we all share. This approach allows us to address a long overdue and foundational need, safe, reliable roads. And we recognize we're in this together to build what really matters. Our new city engineer, Brian Mundy, has jumped right in to continue the work that has already been started. We're also expanding how people move through this city. We expanded the Metz Micro program into Jacobsville thanks to support from Deaconess Health System. Additionally, we are now conducting a feasibility study to explore a regional transit authority because access to transportation is access to opportunity. We've also strengthened how we serve residents in other ways, including pets. We have established the Animal Care and Control as its own department, reflecting a stronger commitment to animal welfare. We've updated policies like our foster to adopt program and stray hold times. We expanded outreach and are building a more responsive system for residents. There's no question this is where Missy Mosby is supposed to be. Keeping our animals safe, sheltered, adopted, and loved. We recognize that local government plays a role in building a more resilient community. That's why we're taking steps to reduce cost and to prepare for the future by installing public EV charging stations, adding more hybrid and electric vehicles, expanding walking trails, and exploring solar options for city facilities. And while we prepare for the future, We also must respond to the infrastructure challenges right in front of us. But not too often, we can't see them. While the massive sinkhole on Riverside Drive was the perfect storm, and not on our bingo card, it did surface an urgent infrastructure need. This work is now complete, and we now know we can slow traffic on Riverside Drive if we wanted to. That was from my E-Rep friends. But what we did is EWUSU did not just fix the pipe, they improved our system by seizing the opportunity to separate stormwater flow from the combined sewer, reducing overflows to the Ohio River. And this was a $10 million investment in infrastructure. We've just began renovating the South Water Treatment Plant, replacing aging pumps. We're designing a groundwater treatment plant, and we're conducting field studies for additional wells. I've said this before, but blending groundwater with river water will save hundreds of millions of dollars in the future. And just as important, discussions continue with the US EPA and the Indiana Department of Environmental Management about efforts to reduce overflows to the river from Evansville's combined sewers under the federal consent decree. Looking ahead, there will be multiple water and wastewater projects across the city. Some areas include Ballard Neighborhood, the West Side Improvement, Oak Hill, and many others. And yes, city departments are talking and trying to better coordinate our projects to minimize disruptions. These systems may not be out of sight. They're underground or even underwater, but they are essential to daily life. So thank you to Vic and to your team for protecting public health, our environment, and for supporting economic development. Another critical focus area is public safety. We cannot be the city we want to be unless people feel safe and protected. And I know people are paying attention. We've all seen the headlines. We've seen incidents that give us pause. And every loss of life is a tragedy. That will always be true. One homicide is too many. Behind every statistic is a family, a mother, a child, a neighbor whose life will never be the same. So let's consider the full picture of how we're addressing safety in Evansville. The data shows that in many areas we are making positive strides. And our chief of police, Chief Smith, shared recently that violent crime is trending down. Last year we saw homicides decrease by 30%. That's 20 down to 14. Already this year though, we've seen 4 homicides, but with a clearance rate of 100%, which is well above the national average for medium and large-sized cities. Assaults are down. Property crimes are declining. Overall calls for service are slightly down at a little over 60K, and arrests remain consistent with long-term trends. While we're seeing these downward trends and can acknowledge meaningful progress, other issues like juvenile, fraud, domestic violence, and predatory crimes remain priority concerns. Nearly 300 sworn officers and professional staff serve our community every day. Men and women of the Evansville Police Department, officers like Sam Taylor, put their lives on the line every day and should be commended for the work that they do on behalf of our community to keep it safe. We recognize we're committed to further growth, though. That means recruiting and retaining 20 more qualified officers, expanding the department's capacity to do the job well and to continue the momentum to improve public safety. And we are continuing to expand technology and data-driven strategies that will allow us to be more precise and more responsive. We're launching Drone as the First Responder program on a 1-year free trial very soon. And early drone as first responder data shows us that with a 70-second drone arrival, that 1 in 4 calls cleared without dispatching a patrol unit. Here are some examples of EPD's good work. Our city led the way with cryptocurrency fraud legislation, thanks to Sergeant Van Cleve, our city council, our prosecutor, and Representative McNamara. We doubled the number of homeless interventions in partnership with organizations and elected officials that make up the Commission on Homelessness. Our officers are engaging more directly with our unhoused neighbors. We will always be a city that will treat individuals experiencing crisis with dignity and professionalism. Our mental health unit is expanding its role, increasing crisis interventions and prevention programs. We know homelessness, addiction, and mental health challenges cannot be solved by enforcement alone. They require partnership, prevention, treatment, housing stability, and a community willing to meet people with both accountability and compassion. We're going to stay focused because public safety is the first responsibility of government, but our Evansville community plays a role too. We will do so through continuing our community policing efforts. Through our Citizens Academy program, we're funding community violence intervention and increasing engagement in neighborhoods because we know prevention has to live alongside enforcement. We are also launching a new community-based initiative to reduce gun violence and strengthen community police relationships. We have to approach crime issues from many different angles. We know we cannot prevent every crime, but we can be more strategic in how we address the root causes. That is why through our Forward Together grants and our opioid settlement investments, we are supporting organizations on the ground that are providing real solutions for residents. The $3.2 million we have awarded is not a handout, it's a smart investment. These grant partnerships allow us to tackle issues early and reduce the conditions that lead to crime in the first place. Public safety doesn't start with a 911 call. It starts with addressing poverty, addiction, lack of opportunity, and access to resources. Let's now shift to fire safety. Under the leadership of Chief Tony Knight, we've made some bold strategic changes that are already improving how we serve this community. We've maintained adequate staffing, just 2 positions away from being fully staffed. We've also restructured how we deploy our resources by relocating trucks across the city to improve coverage where it's needed most. And that decision is already making a difference. In 2025, we saw an 18% decrease in full fire alarm response times. That means when you call for help, we are now getting a full crew of firefighters to your home 1 minute and 22 seconds faster than we were just 1 year ago. That 1 minute and 22 seconds may sound small on paper, but in an emergency, it's the difference between a fire contained or a home being lost. We've also secured land for a new fire station at no charge, with construction beginning later this year. And in less than 45 days, ambulance services will move in-house, allowing our fire department to better coordinate emergency response and strengthen service delivery across the city. Our people are in place. Our people are in place, and we have negotiated and agreed on a collective bargaining agreement for EMS. Let's hear more from our team at EFD.
The ultimate success of this system comes down to people. The people that we bring in to build the system, to manage the system, and to operate the system, because ultimately the customers are the most important people that we need to serve.
We have one thing at the forefront, and that's the community.
What followed was months of planning, training, and coordination.
Protocols had to be built, personnel trained, equipment prepared.
Our citizens, our people deserve the best quality, so we are looking for the best paramedics, EMTs, to continue to provide the service that they deserve.
Countless man-hours went into the creation of an ambulance system for the city of Evansville that many will never see. Feasibility studies and the planning of the execution of the development of the company, the development of EMS protocols, hiring processes, orientation processes, medical direction, and the planning and execution of the builds for the equipment and the ambulances. And ultimately, the biggest kudos, the biggest thank you goes out to the men and women that helped develop this system that is going to serve the citizens of Evansville proudly for the next 30 plus years.
July 1st is when we go live with our ambulances, and that's when the work really begins.
Then we have to start combing through the data and the statistics to make sure that we have efficiently aligned the resources the way that we felt they should have been. we're going to have to continuously do improvements and stay on top of this so that we're offering the best service to you, the citizens of Evansville, from year in and year out.
A transition like this is more than just a project. It's actually a love of what you do.
It has taken a collaborative approach to be able to build a multifunctional system for EMS for the city of Evansville.
There has been the greatest thought given to every single little detail, whether planning protocols, equipment, the hiring process, the personnel that we want, and the type of culture that we want to set. We're setting the standard high, and we plan to keep it that way.
With my origins being in the EMS world, serving 17 years as a paramedic here in Evansville, to bring that ALS service back to the city of Evansville, back to the city of Evansville's control, and to the Evansville Fire Department to execute is a very proud moment for me.
And I want you to know, citizens of Evansville, there's a new holiday coming this year, and that will be July 1st.
At the end of the day, all this comes down to the kind of city we want to be and the responsibility we have to the people who live here. Public safety matters, and it doesn't improve on its own. It takes people, it takes strategy, and the focus on prevention so that residents can feel the difference in their neighborhoods. The basics matter: clean water, reliable infrastructure. These are not just extras. They are the standard you should be able to count on every single day. So that means we will invest in our systems, but do so responsibly. We will continue to prioritize what's most urgent and pace long-term work in a way that keeps costs manageable for residents. Because we know families across our city are feeling the pressures, from the grocery store to utility bills. So let's talk about affordability for a minute. We hear about it a lot, but affordability has been the focus since day one. This administration will remain laser focused on ensuring we meet the needs of people. That's why when the federal government paused SNAP benefits, Evansville stepped up, investing $500,000 in emergency food assistance. We also suspended water shutoffs and late fees so that families wouldn't have to choose between water and food. And after CenterPoint rates increased, I sat down with their leadership team to ask for $5 million in bill relief. They responded, the foundation responded with a community energy improvement fund. I know people are struggling and people are looking for relief, and that's why the city has stepped up, and we will continue to advocate on your behalf. And with all of this work that's gone on, we have stayed financially disciplined as a city. That means managing our resources carefully while continuing to make smart strategic investments. We've maintained our double bond rating, which is proof that Evansville is financially strong, that we're responsibly managed and prepared for the future. And we're continuing to strengthen transparency by inviting residents to engage in the budgeting process in new ways through community surveys and forums. That commitment to good government is why we were recognized by the Government Finance Officers Association with the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for our 2026 budget. Over the past 2 years, with the leadership of Robert Gunter, our city controller, these efforts have brought back more than $40 million in grant funding back into our community. And at the same time, we're preparing for the challenges ahead. We know the landscape is changing and we're facing real financial pressures, so our team is stepping up. Senate Enrolled Act 1 is reducing the revenue local governments rely on, and we're entering a period of uncertainty. We're not ignoring that reality, though, nor are we standing still. Last year, I created a task force to help us plan ahead and to develop strategies to address these challenges. Because we won't be able to simply cut our way through this. We have to adapt and innovate. So that it means exploring every option to strengthen our financial position and identify new sustainable revenue so that we can continue delivering the services city residents rely on. And we won't be doing this work in a silo. We will also be working with our county officials. Despite the challenges, I remain confident in where we're headed because we are looking ahead. We must invest in the next generation because investing in our young people matters. Every child in Evansville deserves the opportunity to succeed, and that starts early. That's why we created the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, so young people have a voice in shaping their city. It's why we've connected youth to jobs through our summer job and resource fair. and why My Summer Ride provided more than 15,000 rides last summer, because transportation is not a barrier, shouldn't be a barrier. A mom called our office thanking us for this program because it allowed her and her daughter to get a job, and she didn't have to worry about how she was going to get there. That's what this work is all about, supporting the needs of people. Earlier this year, we also launched We Read. It's a citywide literacy campaign. And I'm proud to partner with Dr. Dollar Hoover and EVSC because literacy is not just a school issue, it's a community issue, it's a public safety issue, and it's directly tied to long-term success in the school, in the workforce, and in life. Because if we want Evansville to grow and thrive, we have to make sure our children can read confidently by 3rd grade. The path to public safety often begins with early childhood education and literacy. This is building what matters most. And the work we're doing on behalf of our youth is not stopping there. Through the Mayor's Education Roundtable, newly renamed the Children and Youth Cabinet, we are building a cradle-to-career system, an approach that supports our kids at every stage of life. That includes expanding access to healthy food through a new nutrition grant from the American Beverage Foundation for a Healthy America, bringing food markets directly into schools in partnership with EVSC and the Evansville Promise Neighborhood. I was able to recently attend the African American Mayors Association conference recently where I accepted the award. Let's take a look at how they highlighted our city.
Evansville is a great city because it feels like home. A big city that has opportunity, but it's also small where relationships matter. Places to go in Evansville would be our Arch District down in Haney's Corner. You've got a great bar scene, live entertainment, Piece of Cake, which is one of my favorite spots to go to, the Evansville Museum of Arts and Culture and Science, to the Wright's Home Museum, to our African American Museum. Evansville is rich in history. The people of Evansville are very diverse. Some of the challenges that families face as it relates to nutrition, access, and education are real. We have nearly 40% of individuals still living in poverty. So it's critical that we minimize the barriers that they face as it relates to nutrition, education, as well as access to affordable, healthy foods. And that's what we're trying to do with the program we're implementing here.
The Healthy Play and Pantry is absolutely crucial in our community because our Promise neighborhood is in a massive food desert. They have academic challenges, economic challenges, and the Promise Neighborhood Grant allows us to laser-like focus on what the families really need to break down the barriers to access to actually consuming fresh fruits and vegetables. It's not enough to give them a box of vegetables. They have to be excited about preparing it. It has to taste good. It has to be easy. And so we have chefs that can come in and partner with us and teach us how to prepare the vegetable bags that the kids can take home right when they get in and throw in the crock pot and dinner's ready. So we're really, really, really grateful that we can give this opportunity to those families in such a focused way. This is incredibly special because this innovative partnership with our mayor allows us to take all that energy and caring culture at our school and use it for the benefit of those families in the neighborhood.
My office is extremely excited about our partnership with the Evansville Promise neighborhood. It's truly an investment in healthier kids in the city of Evansville. Thank you to the American Beverage Foundation for a Healthy America and the African American Mayor Association for this grant that's going to help improve the health and wellness of our families in the city of Evansville.
I tell you, Dr. Hoover and I are continuing to put our heads together, and we're discussing additional initiatives that will strengthen outcomes for our children and families. So look to hear more about that very soon. And while there's still work ahead, I believe in this city. When we match people with resources, we get the job done. The foundational work we're doing every single day doesn't show up in the headlines. It often shows up quietly in our everyday life. When a neighborhood like TP Park feels cared for, when someone feels safe walking at night down Alvard Boulevard, when a small business can open and succeed on Franklin Street, when a young person believes that they have a future here and attends a local college and starts a career. That's what real progress looks like, and that's the standard we hold ourselves to. I believe in the people who keep showing up for their neighborhoods. I believe in the small businesses and the entrepreneurs taking chances. I believe in the young people who are stepping up and finding their voice. And I believe in a community that continues to push forward, even when things are difficult. That's what gives me confidence about where we're headed as a city. The state of our city is strong because we are building what matters for the people of Evansville. I believe the best version of Evansville is still in front of us. A city where people can see opportunities, where they feel connected, and where they realize a bright future. And I'm ready to keep doing the work with you for as long as you will allow me to serve. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless this city.
Thank you, Mary Terry. Please sign the children's book on the front table, which will be given to the Susan H. Snyder Center for Women and Children on your behalf. The pen is our gift to you to keep. The Susan H. Snyder Center for Women and Children is this year's recipient of our speakers signed books each week for their new library. Please make reservations if you plan to attend these upcoming programs. You can make reservations on our website or in the weekly newsletter link. May 26th, we are back at Bally's in the Executive Conference Center with Nicole Minton and a Lloyd for You update. June 2nd, we will reveal this year's winner of the Civic Award. The strength of a city is not measured just by its buildings or businesses, but by the spirit of its people. When community leaders, organizations, and citizens work together, we create a city that continues to grow, thrive, and inspire future generations. Enjoy the rest of the day. This meeting is adjourned.